My name's Elliot, and I'm coming to you from Material Retail. In this video, we're going to go over some strategies to help you become a better buyer and manage your inventory a little bit better and a little bit more efficiently. If you own a retail business or you work in a retail business, you know that the most important thing is the inventory, what you're selling, how much of it you have, how much you're selling it for. That is the entire business. As a business owner, you'll know that if you have a good handle on your inventory, everything else kind of seems to fall into place. Technically, buying inventory is not an expense. It is by far the biggest sucker of your cash flow. At any given time, you can have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months worth of sales tied up in inventory. And if you're a retail store doing, $1 million a year, that can easily be $250,000 in inventory at retail or at cost. And it's extremely important that you manage this well, because if you manage your inventory correctly, it can mean the difference between, being financially comfortable or always behind on your bills, always struggling to pay rent, always struggling to pay your vendors, and you don't want to get there. The way I view inventory is very unemotional. I see inventory as dollar signs. This inventory is what you need to just turn into money. You paid money for it, and then you need to turn it into money. And the quicker you can turn it into money, the better off you'll be. Thinking and talking about inventory, it's very important to be analytical, look at your numbers, and go from there. As a buyer, when you're buying merchandise, it's all a lot about your gut feeling and what do you think is in season, what do you think your customers will buy, how much do you think you could sell the item for, is it a good price or not. But once you own that item, you're no longer the buyer, you're more the inventory manager, and you have to flip a switch, and then the skill of analyzing your inventory and the product you own by using numbers really comes into play. Material retail, we really have a big focus on inventory management because we think it's really important. And we just released a new report so you can use your data to make better inventory decisions. We're going to learn 4 things. We're going to figure out how to identify products to reorder, how to identify products to mark down, how to identify your worst products that you need to return to vendors or get markdown money for, and how to prepare to go to market. By go to market, I mean go to a trade show or just have a meeting with a vendor. So we're going to use this report. So let's dive right in. Choose vendors or departments or specific products, and then we can group by product, by color, or by size. So in this case, we're going to look for products to reorder, and we're going to look for we're going to look through a 30-day period. So I'm going to change my dates, and we are going to go for a 30-day period. And, we know that we're, short on bags and we need more bags. So let's go and, before going to buy new products, we're going to go and look at products that maybe we want to reorder. We're going to group this by product, and we have this 30-day set. Now, this report, you'll notice, we'll just go through it really quickly. We're going to use the same report for all these use cases. The first thing here is we have the product information. We have the starting stock, which is how many products did we have at the beginning of the period. We have net stock added, which is how many products did we add or remove from inventory during that period. So that could be by a purchase order or a manual adjustment. Net items sold, how many items did we sell? Ending stock, how many do we have left? And then key dates, last date we stocked it and the last date we sold it. So the last date we stocked, it's very important. We need to know last time we got it in. Again, we're looking for products to reorder. So what are we going to do here? We're going to look for products that sold really, really well and really quickly. As a business owner, you need to know your own product. You need to know if the item is in season or out of season, right? If we're going into the spring, we're not going to reorder sweaters. And if we're coming out of the Christmas season, we're not going to reorder, Christmas sweaters. You got to know what to reorder. So you need to use your own knowledge of your business with the data that's going to be presented in front of you. Right off the bat, we see 2 things that we should probably be reordering. We have this right here and this right here. And it's interesting because they're both cosmetic pouches. So we got 2 cosmetic pouches that seem like they're selling really well. So this one at the beginning of the period, and then again, this is last 30 days. This is only for the last 30 days. We had 8 in stock. We sold 6 and we got 2 left. And not only that, I'm filming this video on February 14th. So we sold one of these today. And then coming down to this item, we had 6 in the beginning of the period, which is the beginning of the period again is January 15th. We sold 5. We have 1 left. And again, we sold one of these today. These are ripe for a reorder. We want to come in and make sure we know the item. We're going to look at the item and make sure it's a good item. And then maybe we want to place a reorder for these items. Let's now take it a step further and look for something else. Let's say we want to look for clothing items to reorder. And we're not sure exactly what we need, but we know we need something. We know we're sold out of stuff and we don't have enough goods on our floor. So again, right off the bat, I sorted this by net items sold, so it's going to show me the best-selling items first. And I immediately see a couple of reorders. Now, again, you have to use your own judgment and know whether or not these are going to be in season or not. But check out this item. We have an item here. We had 0 in the beginning of the period. We added 13 items, 13 of them in the last 30 days. We sold 12 of them. So 12 out of 13 really, really quickly. And we got one left. This is an item that if you had it stocked correctly, you could sell hundreds of them throughout the year. It's clear your customers want it. Now here's another one. We had 0 at the beginning of the period, so it's a new item. It is short sleeve, as we see here, short sleeve. We got 12. We sold all 12 to the piece. We sold 12 out of 12 to the piece. We need to have more of these. And we need to see if they have them in other colors. And we got to reorder these items. And just like that, we can, we find hot items. And by knowing what to reorder, we could almost guarantee do more sales when these come back in stock. Again, seasonality is very important. So those are 2 examples of, how to find items that you can reorder for your store. And again, you can search by products if you're curious about a specific product, or by color if you want to see by color. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look for items to mark down. Marking down items is one of the hardest things as a business owner to do. Emotionally, you feel tied to the item. You bought that item, and how could it not sell? Why would I have to mark it down? What's going on? What are you talking about? It's a great item. It's going to sell. Just because it didn't sell this month, maybe it'll sell next month. That's a big mistake. What you need to do is you need to be, again, unemotional about your buys and look at them as dollar signs. And the way you need to look at it is, would you rather have maybe $80 in 6 months or $40 today? And the answer when you're buying merchandise is you most likely want $40 today for 2 reasons. Number one, you'll clear up some space on your selling floor. And you can't have old items on your floor. You can't have a cluttered selling floor. It's important that the floor looks good. And number 2, you'll free up money to go buy a new item that you'll be able to sell for $80 next week. So instead of having $80 in 6 months, you'll really be able to maybe have $120 or even more if you turn your items quickly, way before you would have sold that item. So when we're marking out items, we're looking for just items that are not selling well. So we're going to broaden our date range. We're going to go to 90 days. In this report, we're going to do the opposite. Instead of filtering by looking at the best selling items, we're looking at the worst selling items. Now, you obviously, again, as a business owner, you need to know your product. You need to know if it's a new item, we're not going to mark it down. Boom, the first item on the list, so clear as day, is this item that we have 3 left in stock. We sold 0 in 90 days. Last time we sold it was August 31st, 2023. So now this item is sitting on our floor for 6 months. We need to get rid of it, and we need to get rid of it today. So what are we going to do? We're going to go and mark it down 50% off. Let's look for some more items. Here's another item where we have, one starting stock. We got 1 left. We didn't sell any in 90 days, and we just have 1 left. It's just sitting there like, what are we doing with this item? Why is this on my floor? Let's get rid of it. And let's continue to go through this list, and we'll find more and more items that just need to get marked down. We need to just get them off the floor. They might have sold in the past, but now maybe it's over. Check this item out over here. We started 90 days ago. We had 8 in stock. We still have 8 left. We didn't sell 1 in 90 days. We have 8 left on the floor. Let's get rid of this item. Let's mark it down. If it's not on sale, let's mark it down and make it 30% off. If it's already 30% off, go 50% off. If it's already 50% off, put it on a $5 or $10 rack clearance section. If it's already on that clearance section, you should donate it and just free up your space on your floor. Here's another item. You had 2 90 days ago. You still got 2. You haven't sold one since April, and you might want to come and say like, oh no, it's gonna sell. We're going back in the spring. Like, no, get rid of it. You don't need that look in your store. Get rid of the old stuff that's not selling. Once again, here's another item. We have a denim short. We have 3 in the beginning of the period, 3 at the end of the period. So again, you didn't sell 1 piece for 90 days and you got 3 left. And last time we sold one was October 3rd. It's February 14th right now. We didn't sell one since October 3rd. Get this off my floor. So hopefully you can use this report to just find items that are not selling well. All right, third thing we're going to use this report for, and this one is a little bit tricky. Not everybody likes to do this, but I was in retail for a while and it was one of my favorite things. Doing this, keeps everybody honest, and it's almost free money. Once again, everybody makes mistakes when buying goods, but guess what? Vendors also make mistakes when they produce goods. Maybe the fit's bad, maybe it just doesn't look right, maybe the quality's bad, maybe they just sold you something that just isn't great. We're gonna look for things that we can return to vendors or ask them for a little bit of a discount, ask them for some markdown money. And you don't want to abuse this. However, if you bought 30 items from a vendor last year and two of them just really crap and you spent, $10,000, $20,000 with that vendor, like you asking them to return your two worst items or for markdown money so you can, sell the item a little bit quicker ain't gonna hurt anything. They want to keep you happy. At the end of the day, you're the customer. And again, free up some of that selling space and free up some of that money. So you want to just make sure you're gonna make a little bit more on the item you mark down. Like there's no reason you to lose money on the item. So if the vendor could help out with a little bit of a discount, even if they don't have to give you money back, just give you a credit to another purchase, and everybody wins. So we're back in our product stock report. And we're gonna look at a department here, clothing. And again, we have this 90-day filter on. Could even go a little further if we wanted. We'll just keep it at 90 days. And we're gonna look for items that just are really bad. But we can't necessarily look for super old items. So we have to be careful to not try to, return items that we got in 2018. So we got to keep that in mind. So for this exercise, let's just go to, let's do 60 days. We're going to look for items that we got in 60 days ago. And everybody's business is a little bit different. So depending on how quickly or slowly you turn your merchandise, things will change. If you're a fast fashion store and you're turning your merchandise once every 2 months, you have a 6 times turn and it's really quick. You should look at this over a 30, 60-day period. If you are a shoe store that's turning their merchandise every 6 months, maybe you want to be a little bit more careful. So we're going to look for items that just really didn't sell. As we go through the list, we stumble across an item, and here we go. In the beginning of the period, we had 8. We sold 0. We still have 8. And we got this item in on September 7th. We need to go to the company. We need to call up our rep from Two's company and say, hey, we have this really bad item. Is it okay if we return it for a store credit? And when they say no, say, okay, no problem. Can you help us discount the item? It's really bad. We sold 0 out of 8. Can you help us discount it? And they might say, yeah, we'll give you 20% off the item. And you can go and comfortably mark that item down a little bit more. As we look through our list, we find another item. We got the baby Heidi bubble over here. We got 6. We sold 0. And we got 6 left. And like the other item, we got it in September. So we're not selling this item. We're just wasting time and money by having this on our floor. And as we look through our inventory, we should be able to find more and more items like this. And if you do this on a regular basis, you'll start learning which vendors are willing to work with you and which vendors are not. And I guarantee you will find money out of this. At the end of the day, if the amount of money you pay for goods goes down, you'll make more money. And if you can return bad items, you're just again freeing up that cash flow, and it's really, really good. So look through your items, look through your reports. You can do it by vendor once you know which vendors are going to be good. You can do it by department if you have too much of something from a department, and just really go after those vendors. The last thing that I love to use this report for is, walking the market. So, whether you're going to a trade show and you're about to see 100 vendors, or whether you just have a meeting with a sales rep, using this report or using, knowing what inventory is selling or not selling before you're speaking to a vendor could be, one of the most important things that you do. Gives you reorder information, gives you information on what sold well last year. So you can, talk to them. And obviously you're not going to buy the same style over and over again, but you might find the trend. And you and your sales rep might learn that you sell, brown dresses really, really well from this vendor. And for whatever reason, that's just what it is. So let's say we're going to meet with a vendor. We're going to meet with Z Supply next month. We're going to look at our activity for the last 90 days. This one we're going to group by color because we want to see how the colors performed. And you have a lot of information here. You need to use your gut and knowledge of the business to know what's a reorder, what's not, depending on the season, things like that. But there's a few ways we could look at this. We can look at our best-selling items from the last 90 days and talk to the vendor about it. So we sold this out to the piece. We sold a lot of their items out to the piece. So we know that this is a really good vendor and we do really, really good with their styles. So we need to maybe place a big order next year. And then we also got to talk to them about the items that didn't sell. So we have items, that we didn't sell any items in the last 90 days. And we got to talk to them and say, what's going on? We didn't sell this dress. why didn't it do good, or, actually, no, we just got it in, give it time. But this is an item that we got in 60 days ago that we sold zero of, 0 out of 6. So what's going on? Maybe that information tells you like you shouldn't buy more striped V-necks from Z Supply because you see that you did not sell any of this striped V-neck from Z Supply right here. I'm just going to circle it. This item we sold 0 out of 6, and we got it on 12/19. And we can go through our list and kind of keep doing this thing. This is another item. It's tank top. I know it's early. We just received it. But it is almost 30 days. 30 days ago, we sold 0 out of 6. And what do you know? It's also a tank. So we have 2 items we identified that just didn't sell. So maybe we need to lighten up on the tanks that we buy. And here's another t-shirt. We sold 0 out of 5, and we had this for a while, right? September. So we maybe ask for a refund or something. But this is, again, you're not going to go crazy because you had it for a long time, so maybe it's a little too late. But this is another t-shirt that you didn't sell. And here's another one, a t-shirt that you didn't sell. So maybe you want to talk to that vendor and say, like, all right, I'm not selling you t-shirts. Maybe we step away from the t-shirts, right? But when we sort it by net items sold, we're seeing like we sold a ton of your sweaters and your joggers, and we did really, really good with maybe your more fashiony items. So we're going to stick to the more fashion this year. We're going to, this season, we're going to go less tees and tanks and basics and more fashion and sweaters and stuff like that. So, that's it. That's all I got. I think managing inventory is the most important thing you can do as a retail business owner, especially someone in the fashion space. Like what you sell, the product you sell is your whole business. People do not come to you because they need to feel warm in a sweater. They come to you because you have nice sweaters and they trust your opinion and they trust you as a buyer. So keep all that in mind. Whether you're using our report in material or you're using another inventory management tools reporting, hopefully you can use some of these tips and tricks to identify reorders, markdowns, returns, and just to help you become a better buyer and better manager of your inventory. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me or anybody on the team. My name is Elliot. I'm from Material Retail.